Hey everyone, something a little bit different today. I am reviewing a movie called Brightburn that came out in 2019, directed by a chap named David Yaroevsky. And this movie, Brightburn, basically asks the question and also answers that question. The question being, what would happen if Superman was an evil son of a gun? How would the world and those people around him be affected? This movie is in effect a superhero. Well, I say superhero. It's actually a supervillain horror movie because the way in which the powers are employed to kill people, it's horrific. It's it's some of the death scenes are pretty inventive and pretty intense. So if you're into horror and comic books and super characters, I think this is something you should definitely watch because it is very enjoyable. Now, much like the original Superman mythos, uh, the there is a couple by the name of Tori and Kyle Brewer who basically discover a spaceship at the back of their house in a forest, and the spaceship has a baby in it. Since the couple cannot conceive themselves, they adopt the baby. Very happy that this little bundle of joy has come down from heaven, and they take the spaceship and basically hide it at the back of their house in some farmland. So far, so good. The child is given a loving home. He's showered with love, in fact. The mother dotes on him, and the father provides a good, stable support. So everything is fine. They named the child Brandon Brewer, okay, BB. And everything is going well. He's slightly socially awkward, but highly intelligent and does well at school and loves his parents. So everything is fine. So, so far, it's like a direct sort of like it's a direct link to the original Superman film and the whole Clark Kent backstory. It's playing out to a T. But on his 12th birthday, things start to change. He starts developing a bit of an attitude, and along with the attitude, he discovers that he has super strength. He can fly. He can shoot lasers from his eyes. Basically, he has all the powers that Superman has in the normal DC universe. But of course, this is not the normal DC universe. And with great power comes great attitude, right? He realizes that basically he is above and beyond the petty people that who might try and bully him or might try and look down upon him. And what would happen if you're a 12-year-old kid and you're pissed off with someone? Well, if you look back at your 12-year-old self, I think there would be trouble. There would be trouble, right? Unrestrained, superhuman 12-year-old kid. That's a frightening idea, and that's exactly what you get in Brightburn. Now, the reason for this change in attitude, it's explained by way of the spaceship in which he came. The spaceship basically is emitting this signal into his brain, which is basically saying that you have to take over the world. You find out in the movie that this guy Brandon, this kid, was basically sent by an alien race to come to planet Earth, and on his 12th birthday he would be activated to basically conquer the planet and kill everyone and destroy everything in sight, right? That gets in his way. And this is truly horrifying because he has, like I say, he's practically indestructible, has all the powers of Superman, and the planet can't really stand up to him if he decides to go all out. And of course, right now he's just a child, right? He's going to get older, stronger, pretty much unstoppable. So, bearing that in mind, you get to see a young, evil Superman basically doing whatever the hell he wants to do. And what he wants to do really is kill people. He wants to take revenge on those people who he thinks have done him wrong. Now, before the bloodbath starts in earnest, you're given a few warning signs that Brandon is about to explode, and things are about to get pretty hairy. One of the signs, this was an amazing scene in the movie, is when he has a bit of a disagreement with his father, Kyle, And Kyle basically tries to remove Brandon from where they're at that particular time. They're at a party. They're at Brandon's birthday party, in fact, and he wants him to go, but he can't budge him. His dad, who's a huge guy, right, in comparison, cannot move Brandon. He can't lift him, he can't budge him, he can't do anything. And he's freaked out, like, what the hell's going on? Right? This 12-year-old kid, why can't I move this 12-year-old kid? And Brandon's attitude changes from this timid, shy boy to someone who basically just says no, and that's it. It's like a FU to his own dad. And Brandon will not move until he is basically pleaded to by his mother, and then he concedes. But there and then, just from the father's reaction, that he's completely freaked the hell out, man. Things are changing. The other warning sign is when Brandon gets rejected by some girl that he likes, and he basically breaks every bone in her hand. Um, there you go. I mean, 12-year-old kid, unlimited power. You don't get what you want, you break it. There you go. Um, so anyway, these things are happening in the process as things go by, and he realizes how little regard he actually has for these petty little humans. Because along the movie, he finds out that he is in fact this alien conqueror, and that the Earth is just for his taking. So he kind of just loses respect for humanity in an instant, just like that. And some people have criticized that. They've said, well, what about all those years of upbringing by his parents? How can he just suddenly turn evil? And the way that you counter that is by pointing out that he is now programmed by this spaceship that's emitting this signal, right? He is, by instinct, a predator. And until the ship activated his predatory senses, he was basically just a normal kid. But the moment that his actual instincts were activated, well, he became this conqueror. Anyway, his disregard for human life extends to his own family. He kills his uncle. He actually ends up killing his dad when they're in the forest. To be fair, the dad, having discovered that Brandon is a massive threat to humanity, tries to shoot him in the head, but the bullets just bounce off. And so Brandon turns around, grabs him, and basically laser beams, heat visions his own dad in the eyes, and basically blows his brains out using his heat vision, which was a very, very intense, scary scene, right? It's some very inventive final moments are played out in this film. He also kills his adoptive mother. His mom realizes that the only kryptonite that Brandon has is the metal remnants of the ship, the spaceship. That material is the only thing that can actually cut him and harm him. And so when she tries to cut him with a shard from the spaceship, Brandon dodges and then takes his mom all the way up into the sky and then drops her to her death. Um, he also kills that girl who he liked, whose hand he broke, right? He also kills her mother in a very, very horrible way. I mean, everything is just when he gets down to it, the way he kills. He also kills police officers, by the way, right? He has no regard for authority whatsoever, because as far as he's concerned, all humans are petty little insignificant insects, and that is where the true horror of this movie lies. The realization by a 12-year-old kid that everyone and everything around him is insignificant. It means nothing, that he is in fact superior to everything else. So I suppose when you realize that, not only do you feel this sense of extreme loneliness, not being able to really sort of connect with the people who you thought were your friends and family, you realize that they're nothing more than cattle to be conquered. What a lonely, sad, and frightening thing it must have been for him. And so, of course, he's going to retaliate and do what comes to him naturally, and that is kill the Earthlings. Near the end of the movie, after he's dropped his mother from a great height to basically let her smash to the ground and die, Brandon spots an aeroplane, well, a large passenger plane just above him. And the next scene that you see is a passenger airplane sort of on the ground, destroyed completely, scattered all over the place around Brandon's old home. The idea being that he has more people to kill, which he loves doing, and also any evidence of what's happened at his own house has now been destroyed. Not that it really makes a difference because Brandon then starts making his public debut by destroying buildings and aeroplanes and towers and all sorts of things. He just goes on a rampage. Um, this this is a great character study. I suppose it's one of those things where you could sort of experiment with whether it's nature or nurture that defines the identity of a human being, right? If a person is intrinsically evil or programmed to be evil, can you change that programming by virtue of the way that you bring them up? Or can you not? And in this movie, the answer is no, you can't. Once an evil alien world conqueror, always an evil alien world conqueror, which is what Brandon basically is. And again, it's frightening enough that he's 12 years old at the time of this movie. When it first introduces Brandon, but the fact he's going to get older and be basically completely unstoppable by any force on the planet. If that isn't horrifying, I don't know what is. And there's something about the costume. There's something that he wears a mask as this Brightburn character. There's something about the mask which has a very almost Cthulhu esque quality to it, with like, it's almost like an octopus face mask with these tentacles coming down from his face. I mean, uh, it's menacing. It is menacing. And look, as a horror movie, it's a very good film. As a supervillain horror movie, I think it's a very good film. It's only got 50, I think it's 56 or 57% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it deserves a lot more. And again, people, like I say, people have criticized the fact that it's too short to actually go into proper character development. Things are explained too soon with not enough depth. But the reality is that it's a limited budget of 6 million. It's only 1.5 hours long. I mean, what are you expecting? It's a masterpiece still in relation to how much money is actually spent on it and how much time they have to play with. There are certain Marvel movies which are over 2 hours long, which have a huge budget in comparison, and they're a steaming pile of crap. So I think in comparison, this movie's really done a fantastic job. I mean, I would recommend this film. As I mentioned earlier, if you're a horror fan and a comic book fan, and you want to mix those two things together, this is it. This is the one to sort of get you into that sort of like certain flavor. I think the acting is brilliant. I think the special effects for a movie of this budget were really, really good. From the levitation scenes to the super strength scenes to the scenes with the heat vision, the destruction of buildings, everything was done really well. I can actually see these special effects in a movie of a much higher budget, and so whatever these people did, I think it's fantastic. Um, Watch it if you haven't already seen it. But of course, watch it if you like horror. If you don't like horror, don't watch it. It's not for you. But yes, here's my rambling review of Brightburn, a movie that I enjoyed. And if they make a Brightburn 2, I will be the first one at the cinema to go and watch it. Thank you guys for listening in. It's a little different to what I normally do, but I appreciate your time if you've joined in. And as ever, like and subscribe if you will. Uh, I'll see you in the next one.